Hi everybody. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about what you should say so that people will take action. So there's a lot of noise around at the moment, and quite often we wonder what it is that's going to make the cut through. So that's what the masterclass is about today. So hi, I'm Cathy Smith. I'm from Cathy Smith Coaching. I've been in marketing 35 years and I've been a coach for 4 years. I'm an ICF coach and I help coaches to create thriving businesses out of their coaching skills. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, and I'm a mum. I've got 2 adult children and I've been married 30 years. So I know a few things about business and a few things about a few other things as well. So clarity creates confidence. Confidence creates consistency. Consistency creates clients. And as you have a business and you want to create a business, you really do need to create clients. And today we're not going to be talking about copywriting. We're going to be talking about messaging and how you feel when you tell people that you are a coach and that you're talking to prospects and prospective clients about what it is, what you can do, and how you can help them. So it's about simple messaging. Who can you help? What is the problem that you are going to help them with? And sometimes it's about letting them know what the problem is. They know that there's something wrong, but they don't always know what the problem is. So if you think about when you go to a doctor, you've got a sore arm. You don't know whether it's sprained, whether it's broken, whether you've torn something or you've done something else. You just know you've got a sore arm. And your clients can be like that too. They know that there's a symptom, but they're not always sure what the problem is. So sometimes it's your job to help them to decide what that problem is. And then your solution. How are you going to fix that arm? How are you going to help them with their problem so that they can move on in life, so that they can achieve what it is that they're trying to achieve, so that they can change something perhaps? And how are they going to get it? Obviously, you're going to be the solution, so you need to show them how they can buy it and where they can go to get it. So when we're thinking about messaging, there's one myth that comes up all the time, and it's trying to talk to everybody. Having such a broad message just makes it really confusing, and it makes you invisible. If you think about Facebook, they did not start by helping everybody. They started in one dormitory, in one campus, in one location, and then they spread to further locations. They spread to other campuses, and then they went to world domination. They didn't start with world domination. So they were just solving a problem that one person had and that multiple people had, and then they expanded out. But they started by speaking to their friends, their immediate people right there, right next to them. So that's how simple messaging can make such a difference. So who is it that you help? Amelia is a lady that lives in Melbourne, in Australia, and she loves to drink tea. And particularly in the Lygon Street area in Melbourne, it's very much a coffee-dominated place. But she found this amazing tea shop, and she goes in there every morning and they know what she likes. She goes in and she gets her Earl Grey with milk on the side, extra hot. But if she was to walk in there and say, I want hot water, what would she get? And that's what we do with our messaging. We are so broad that we are trying to sell hot water to tea or coffee drinkers. And of course, it doesn't resonate. It doesn't hit that spot. It's not the same as going in and asking for an extra hot Earl Grey tea with milk on the side. So think about your coffee preferences. When you go to your favourite coffee shop, you don't just ask for hot water, do you? It would just be unimaginable. So stop trying to sell hot water when you're selling your coaching. I offer life coaching that helps you feel better. It's just like trying to sell hot water. Some people might go, yeah, I kind of get what you're talking about, but most people will go, I don't want hot water. But if you're to say, I help busy women stop that Sunday dread and start to feel better so that that week is much better, and you start to get specific about what it is that you're selling. People don't buy the container, they buy the outcome. They want that steaming hot cup of tea. They don't just want that vague promise of a hot drink. So Claire is a client of mine, and she really wanted to work with two groups of people. She wanted to work with C-suite executives and she wanted to work with founders. The problem is that C-suite executives think in certain ways, and founders are generally business owners, and they don't see themselves as that C-suite. They don't see themselves as a CFO or CMO or any of those C kind of suite areas. They see themselves completely different. So trying to speak to both these people ended up with her message being really mixed, and nobody really got what she was trying to talk about. Once she let go of the idea of doing the founders and she started getting her terminology all around the C-suite, people knew exactly what it was that she was selling and who she was selling to. And it makes such a difference when you're clear about who it is that you're going to help. Myth number 2, if I only solve one problem, I will turn people away. And it's just not true, because we get really clear about what it is, that people understand what it is that you're going to be selling. So who are you helping and what is the problem that you're solving? So if you think about lemon cordial, and I know this is a really weird example, but there was a boy and he was talking to his granddad and they lived near a lake, and the boy said, I'd like some lemon cordial. And the granddad gave him a cap of lemon cordial and he said, ugh, it's too strong. He said, take it down to the lake, drop it in the lake, and you're going to have so much lemon cordial, it won't be funny. And he thought, sounds a bit odd, but Granddad knows, why not? So off he did. And then he took a cup and he took a slurp of that diluted lemon cordial. It was awful. So then he went back to his granddad and he said, I didn't get more lemon cordial. That was just disgusting. He said, okay, well, how about you put this cap of lemon cordial into a glass and have another go, which he did. And of course, this time the consistency was correct and he got lemon cordial. And this is what we're doing with our messaging. If we're trying to dilute it into that lake and give it to everybody, but unfortunately, it just becomes sloppy water and nobody wants it. We need to get less diluted and more clear about what it is that we're selling and who to. So don't dilute your cordial, don't dilute your message. So we need to get very clear on what it is that we're doing. So saying, I help you improve your mindset and your confidence is very vague, isn't it? It's not telling anybody anything about what it is that you actually do. Whereas I help new coaches second guess their marketing so that they can create real clients. Now that's starting to get much tighter and you can understand who it is that I'm helping. If you're a new coach, you immediately go, that's me. And you also go, that's not me, which is where people get stuck and they think that's a bad thing. And it's not, because what happens is if you think of a dartboard, if you aim for that middle dart and you hit it, fantastic. But you can also slide round the side a little bit and get a bit further out. But if you aim for the outside because you're trying to talk to everybody, nobody's going to understand and your dart's not going to hit that dartboard at all. Vague words sound lovely, but they just don't work. Be specific. Be specific about what it is you're trying to do. And then, what is your solution? So myth number 3 is your solution must sound unique. This is what we hear all the time, isn't it? sometimes we think it's got to be complex or impressive to be valuable. And once again, that is just not true. So the simple message is, who do you help, the problem you solve, and what is your solution? So even the best chefs start with a recipe. They don't start with random ingredients. They start with an idea in mind, what it is that they're going to solve, their solution. And you only need to be a few steps ahead. Some of the best coaches are only a few steps ahead because they know exactly what your problem is now and how to solve it. They're not trying to remember way back when to what they did. So just because you're a few steps ahead is not necessarily a bad thing, because you have that knowledge, and quite often you have knowledge from other areas as well that you can pull in. So random ingredients won't get you anywhere. You need to show them what your recipe actually is. I have a framework that helps you grow a business. That's very big and very vague. Whereas I have a framework that helps you go from invisible to irresistible, to work out your niching, your messaging, and to get visible. So once again, we're tightening that up so people know exactly what it is that you help them with. And the framework needs to have a destination. So Sarah, she's another client of mine, and she thought that having more things on her website would make it better. Almost like a buffet. People could choose whatever they wanted. The problem was it was so scattered that nobody had a clue what she was actually selling. She had things here and things there, and you could do this and you could pick that, and it just got so confusing that people were bouncing out because they couldn't see a clear pathway to a destination, and they couldn't see it was for them. So myth number 4, if I give them a clear destination, they will do it themselves. And yeah, a few might, but guess what? If you show them who you're helping, the problem that you help them with, your solution, and how they can get it, 9 times out of 10, they'll follow you. So when I was young, my dad used to put us all in the car, my siblings and myself and my mum, and we'd go for a country drive. And he never told us where we were going. If we didn't fight too much, we got the option to have an ice cream. But as we got older, the ice cream wasn't enough to take us on this vague trip to goodness knows where. But that's what we're trying to do when we sell coaching. We're trying to say we're going to solve this problem and we're going to make it fantastic, but we're not telling anybody what the actual outcome is and where they're going to end up. So we're buying a map to nowhere. Nobody wants that. So you need to be the guide. People don't pay for the information. They pay for the implementation, the feedback, the perspective, and the accountability. And that's why YouTube can be out there with all the do's and don'ts, but they want you to help them. They want you to show them how, and they want you to be the guide. Even if somebody knows the step-by-step, quite often they won't do it unless you support them. So what is your solution? And how are you showing it to them? So who do you help? What is the problem you help them with? Their desired outcomes, their solution. And why should they do it with you now? So I hope this has been helpful. So I'm Cathy Smith from Cathy Smith Coaching, and I help you to create a thriving business out of your coaching ability. If you'd like to have a chat, cathysmithcoaching.com.au and follow my booking link.